Welcome back into Cougar Tracks here on the KSL Sports YouTube and KSL NewsRadio, your legacy home of the BYU Cougars. I'm loving this daily format here on the show, and if you missed the show at all, you can subscribe to the podcast, listen to the audio form, or you can go on the KSL Sports YouTube and watch the video. Subscribe to KSL Sports YouTube, like the video, would appreciate that a ton. It's time now to rank the top 5 BYU football players, according to me, heading into the 2025 season. And we start out with number 5, a guy that, no pun intended, is chasing greatness in the ranks of BYU wide receiver lore. That's Chase Roberts. And Chase Roberts is going into his senior season after turning down the possibility of, again, chasing an NFL career. Chase has the chance to be one of the all-time greats in BYU history. Think about this. Chase Roberts has led BYU in receiving yards the past 2 seasons. He's got a career total of 1,784 receiving yards. He needs only 583 more receiving yards to crack into the top 10 all-time. If he can break the 1,000-yard mark this year, exactly 1,057 yards, he would enter the top 5 receiving yardage totals in BYU football history. He would pass Margin Hooks. So Chase Roberts has the potential to go down as one of the great receivers statistically in BYU football history. And honestly, I think Chase is one of the greats in BYU history. He's not Austin Collie, Puka Nacua. That's a different tier. Cody Hoffman. But next in line, I think Chase Roberts is there. When you consider he's going up week after week against Power 4 competition, there's only been one guy that's led BYU in receiving yardage since the Cougars became a member of the Big 12. It's Chase Roberts, and he's number 5 on my top 5 BYU football players entering the 2025 season. At number 4, it's another guy who's led BYU in key statistical categories on the offensive side the past 2 seasons. It's junior running back LJ Martin. And LJ, I think, is due for a monster year. You see these clips of LJ in fall camp. He's looking great. LJ, the number 4, first off, looks fantastic on him. I love that. But also, I would say with LJ Martin, he looks faster. He looks healthy as he's been at BYU. Remember last year dealing with the shoulder, then the ankle against SMU. LJ Martin is a talented running back. I think at a minimum, he's a top 4 running back in the Big 12 Conference. He's going to be a leader of this BYU football team this year. LJ last season rushed for 718 yards in only 10 games, and he had 7 TDs. He had 10 receptions for 98 yards and 2 touchdowns. Think about this, too. He only had 137 rushing attempts. That's in 10 games. I expect that's an average about 13 attempts per game. I would expect that number goes up significantly this year. I think we got to entertain the idea of him getting 20 touches a game, especially early on with a transition at quarterback. I think that would be great to see for BYU. At number 3 in my top BYU football players entering the 2025 season, I'm going to the linebacker unit, and it's senior Jack Kelly. And he turned down a chance to chase the NFL. He's coming back to play yet another season in Jay Hill's defense, and there's no guy better for this defense than Jack Kelly. He knows it inside and out. I mean, it's like his second language. He understands this defense. Last year, he led BYU in sacks with 5 a season ago. He had 51 tackles, 10 tackles for loss, 2 forced fumbles, 1 fumble recovery. He did it all. And think about this, too. He was getting a lot of hype as a transfer from Weber State, and I thought he lived up to it. His closing speed is elite. His athleticism, and it feels like, too, in a lot of these practices, whether it was spring against Jake Retzloff and here in the fall during against the current quarterbacks, he's always coming up with picks, man. He finds a way to get takeaways, and that's a nice luxury to have when there's some questions in the secondary about replacing Jacob Robinson, Mark Collins, who are some guys that can force some picks. Jack Kelly could definitely do that. He had 1 last season, but wouldn't surprise me if that number gets increased this season. Number 2 on the top BYU football players entering the 2025 season, according to me. We're going to go across enemy lines. He transferred from Utah to now BYU for his redshirt junior season. That is Keanu Tanavasa. And Keanu is going to take on that leadership role in the defense from Tyler Batty. Think about the guy that is the vocal leader off the field. Maybe if there's adversity that hits the team, Keanu's going to be the guy that's the voice of reason for this group. And then you factor in how he plays in the interior. He has rattled at times Bruce Mitchell because Keanu is such a force in the interior. They got to keep him healthy, though. Last year at Utah, only 7 games played. He had 17 tackles in those 7 games and 5 tackles for loss. Think about that. It felt like the guy had 10 tackles for loss against BYU alone last season. He also had 1 sack, 4 pass deflections. He is a playmaker in the interior of a defense, and he has been that and more for BYU in Jay Hill's defense and for Coach Sione Puha. Very excited about Keanu Tanavasa. High expectations. I think he could be a first-round type talent. And, he told me back in January that he's looking at this year as his last ride potentially and then going into the NFL. The nice thing is that he does have options because he could run it back in 2026. But, he wants to go to the league. He's a little bit older prospect. He served a mission for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Keanu's looking to have a big year, and for good reason, because he has been everything BYU hoped for when they got him out of the portal. He's been fantastic. And that brings me to my number 1 player on the BYU football team entering the 2025 season. This guy's an absolute stud in every sense of the word, on and off the field. Number 1, Isaiah Glasker, linebacker for the Cougars. Breakout season a year ago. And I always tell people this, but we were seeing signs for years. Glasker being this guy that was a stud in spring ball, fall camp, but due to, various injuries and things like that, that always derailed the momentum. But Glasker was an absolute beast a season ago. Last year at BYU in Jay Hill's defense, 70 tackles, led the team there. 14.5 tackles for loss. He led the Big 12 in that category. 3.5 sacks, 3 interceptions. Just like Jack Kelly, he can force takeaways at the second level of the defense. Just look at how Glasker operates. Plays with such violence. He's huge. He's got great size at 6'5". Glasker, he could be an all-timer linebacker. I'm telling you, he is a unique body type, and he's going to be fantastic. Him and Jack Kelly, too. I kind of joked with Glasker last week at practice. I said, what's the nickname of the tandem between you two? And he said, like, peanut butter and jelly, something like that. Anyway, but that's my top 5, and I'll recap it here. The top 5 BYU football players entering the 2025 season. Number 5, Chase Roberts. Number 4, LJ Martin. Number 3, Jack Kelly. Number 2, Keanu Tanavasa. And number 1, Isaiah Glasker. Do you disagree? Do you think I got that completely wrong? Or do I know ball and I got it right? Tell me in the comments or send us a text 57500. But I cannot wait. We're another day closer to BYU football kicking it off. 11 days until kickoff. We'll be back tomorrow with another edition of Cougar Tracks here on the KSL Sports YouTube and KSL News Radio. Talk to you tomorrow.